What's happening, crypto fam? Happy Friday. Good morning and welcome back to Love for Crypto. I'm Scott. It's a pleasure to have you here and appreciate you taking the time out to consume the content. So thank you. This morning we're talking about David Schwartz, XRP, the XRP ledger and CBDCs. More importantly, XRP not only bridging CBDCs, but when we talk about things like this, we need to remember it's going to bridge anything of value, has the potential and possibility to bridge anything of value. And when you say it's going to, it becomes an opinion, but let's read a bit of David Schwartz views on it. Right, I've got an article here. Have a little look at this. David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple, recently delivered a lecture at Berkeley, a lecture during which he shared his views on how he sees XRP and XRPL fitting into the broader picture of a world with CBDCs. CBDCs have been quite the range recently, especially since United States Fed Chair Powell confirmed that the US is looking into the digital dollar experiment. Like, pinch of salt of all the stuff we've known for ages. We've known Fed now and all that. They've been in this for ages. They just haven't really come out and said it. They was talking in code for 3 years and still are now. So I've got the actual chat of David Schwartz. We may as well just go straight in there. Now it's a poor font and it's pretty long. Apologies if I mess a bit of this reading up. So I'll put the link in the description if you want to go and have a read of it yourself. Feel free to. Don't need to have my opinions over it, do you? For those of you who like it. Hello, I'm David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple. Definitely not an economist. I just had arthroscopic, Dave, surgery, and tomorrow will be officially my first day back at work. So no slide deck from me. I'm coming to you from the kitchen because my office is on the other side of the house. It might as well be on the moon. I want to thank Rich and Tobias and also Barry and John for giving me the opportunity to speak today. So I'm guessing this was a virtual chat at Berkeley. Off the first paragraph, he's clearly not there. He's in his own bedroom, his own kitchen. Ripple improves international payments for enterprise customers by building a modern interoperable international payment and settlement system, RippleNet. Based on blockchain technologies, our ultimate goal we call the Internet of Value is payments as easy as email for enterprises of all sizes and for customers around the world. Obviously, we're not going to build that all by ourselves. It's an audacious goal, and in 8 years we've learned a lot about where the challenges are, also where the opportunities are. CBDCs. The good news, CBDCs can make domestic settlement faster, more reliable and less costly. And that is very important. You can't have good international payments without good domestic settlement. International payments are more important than you might think because they are so inefficient today. They often simply don't take place. Most emails wouldn't have been sent by postal mail if we didn't have email. The communications simply wouldn't have happened. An enormous amount of valuable commerce simply doesn't happen because international payments are so slow, unreliable, costly and complex. There's typically a domestic transfer on each end of any international payment. If those don't work well, the international payment doesn't work well. And equally important, if you imagine an international settlement system with good characteristics like speed, certainty, and low failure rates, those benefits won't be seen by endpoints of the payment unless the domestic components on both ends have them too. Countries that don't modernize their domestic systems will not see the benefits of the revolution in payments taking place today pushed to endpoints in that country. Interesting. CBDC distribution will almost certainly have to happen through intermediaries, banks, wallets, fintechs. Central banks don't have the scale today to provide direct-to-consumer services. It would make no sense for them to try and scale up to replace consumer financial infrastructure. In working to build modern international payments, we've discovered that the biggest obstacle is often the very last hop, getting the funds to the payment recipient through the domestic payment systems, but lacking connectivity to consumers. CBDCs won't solve this last mile problem that has made modernising international payments so difficult. Fortunately, domestic payments are modernising. SEPA, Singapore and others all have very strong domestic systems. The US is implementing FedNow, though that won't be available or live for another few years. 2023 FedNow. Interoperability. It's important that these payment systems are also built on newer technologies that are compatible with each other. At a minimum, they won't be able to confer the benefits of improved international settlement to the payments originator and recipient if they aren't modernized. At worst, those payments won't work at all. Even if you imagine some future with one world asset, we won't get there unless the new one world asset is compatible with where the value is today. So either way, compatibility is key. Like I say, this is what I mean. You bring out your UN credit. I still want to know what it's worth in pounds. You can't just say it's one UN credit. Like, well, okay. So what's it worth in pounds, mate? In my system, my domestic system, what's that worth? What's it worth in dollars? What's it worth in, you know what I mean? It's not just a matter of just introducing a one world fiat currency. The world's value is spread out today among systems that don't interoperate, with a massive number of bespoke and quirky interconnections, band-aids. Companies that handle large numbers of payment endpoints need hundreds of people to maintain their payments infrastructure and handle the complex treasury options needed to handle funds in dozens of payment systems. If someone wants to compete with companies that have this kind of payments infrastructure, the answer can't be that they hire 100 payment engineers and a dozen treasury operations people. That's a non-starter. So there is definitely an opportunity here to bridge domestic real-time payment systems such as FedNow and a clearinghouse for the USD with powerful benefits for small to medium enterprises and ultimately consumers around the world. So the task, we need to build systems with common principles, just as the internet was built. Today, many computer networks are effectively just part of the internet, but it wasn't always this way. As many of you may know, Cisco rose to dominance against competitors because they could make existing legacy systems connect to the internet, while competitors required you to build new internet-like networks. Today, most networks look like the internet, but we need interoperability. We needed interoperability to get there. The payments and settlements are definitely in that pre-internet state. There's still a huge mismatch today. It's walled garden after walled garden with very limited interoperability through a massive number of different specific limited interconnections. Liquidity is spread out and enterprises need to keep money across those three systems. Or these systems, should we say. The result is high cost due to trapped funds and the need to pre-fund transactions, often days in advance. So the two problems we need to be mindful of are, A, stablecoins are always going to be tied to a single fiat currency. There probably is not going to be one winner at the end of the day. There definitely won't be a single stablecoin or a single fiat currency for that matter that everyone uses anytime soon. The US dollar has been the world reserve currency since the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, but as we've seen, particularly this year, the status is weakening. Reserve currencies and jurisdictions. I don't think USD being fully replaced as a world reserve currency is likely in the near term, or even in the next few decades. But its position is becoming more precarious because of several reasons. Pandemic uncertainty, forcing consumers and institutions to look at other safe haven asset classes, like crypto, and the rise of other countries, particularly China, that are trying to dethrone the US dollar. It's not about dethrone. No, what? Dethrone. Mate, don't talk like the dollar want the cause in 2008 and they want all calling for a new reserve currency after that. They're not trying to just dethrone the dollar because they don't like America. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus wept. It's not just China, mate. The dollar's done. Deal with it. Accept it. And realise it's happening. Yeah, you might be right with the next decade or two. That it's going to take a little bit of time, excuse me, for it to actually happen. But look at how fast the euro took 20% of the reserve. Interesting. Being tied, particularly China, to dethrone USD. Being tied to the USD also brings jurisdictional ties as well that are, let's be realistic, increasingly unwanted in many parts of the world. Here, David. Sorry for the little rant, mate. I knew you'd get on it. Today, many sovereign countries around the world want independence from a system that gives jurisdictions like the US and the EU extraterritorial control over systems in those sovereign countries and their regions. Saudi Arabia, for example, wants a payment system in the Middle East that respects their sovereignty. So, if each country issues their own CBDC or starts using stablecoins dominated in different regional currencies, we risk repeating this mistake yet again. We drastically need interoperability between these virtual currencies and between virtual currencies and traditional assets and systems. A CBDC, by definition, will carry the same capital controls, trade agreements, politics, etc., just as its corresponding fiat currency did. Again, countries are not going to want to deal with another country's capital controls. A world currency issued by a world jurisdiction that everybody uses for everything is a pipe dream. Our choices seem to be an interoperable future with a few jurisdictionless settlement assets or balkanization. They will... Fucking love David Schwartz. The need for a natural asset. If you're looking at cross-border, the key factor is interoperability. You're working across jurisdictions and across assets. You'll need a neutral asset in between different CBDCs, or your liquidity will be divided amongst the N2 pairs of CBDCs. Similarly, I hate that word, mate. Similarly. Fuck off. Similarly. Oh, it's hanging. Similarly, if other assets, such as securities around the world, get tokenized, there's even more need for a natural asset between multiple CBDCs and possibly a large number of new assets in new asset classes. We know it's coming with games and that. It's coming, David. A central bank is not going to issue a digital asset that behaves like BTC, XRP, Ethereum. These are neutral assets that should remain free from single jurisdiction control. CBDCs are not going to usurp the role of universal settlement assets. You need a natural asset going in between CBDCs, serving as a settlement asset across jurisdictions, accepted by all, because everyone accepts that they can't get the whole world to use an asset they control. It is. And so, an asset nobody can control is better than one controlled by one of their geopolitical competitors. And you fucking know it. Bitcoin is sometimes pitched as an interoperability solution. In the early days, it almost seemed believable. But now we have some 1,500 cryptocurrencies that don't interoperate, and almost nothing non-crypto interoperates with Bitcoin. We have recreated a newer version of the same walled garden problem. Instead of building an internet based on compatibility, we built one network and required everyone to join that network, requiring too many sacrifices too quickly. Bring in XRP and the XRP ledger. Back it up, baby. It can't be just one network. And if there's one network at the hub, that network has to be built for that role, with interoperability taking priority over everyone do things our way. We can't have everyone do things our way. It has to be based on bridges, not walls. XRP and the XRP ledger were built specifically for this kind of role. The XRP ledger was purpose-built for transacting both in a native neutral asset XRP and also in issued assets to bridge CBDCs, stablecoins, other payment networks, and other kinds of assets. XRPL has asset issuance built into the protocol. Issuance, authorization, payment, settlement, and exchange are all native operations with simple APIs. Issued assets can represent fiat currency, securities, or anything else of fungible value that works like a currency. The XRP ledger can't handle all the world's payments, and I'm not proposing a one network solution. That's totally unrealistic. People want different things and have different problems, but XRP can be the hub or backbone that provides the fast international settlement piece. It won't solve the last mile problem, but will help with interoperability and concentrating liquidity so enterprises don't have to keep funds in every payment system. It's a good read, this, David. Probably find a video of him actually giving a talk himself somewhere online, but I'll come to the conclusion. Just to repeat what I said at the very beginning, CBDCs can make domestic settlement more efficient, and that's very important. You can't have good international payments without good domestic settlement, but they are not enough by themselves. And expecting them to bring benefits to SMEs and end users is unrealistic unless we do a number of things. One of the things we discovered at Ripple is that you can give an enterprise a fantastic payment rail and they will still be hesitant to push that benefit to their customers because it makes the less modern parts of their system seem more or seem worse or unacceptable. It may be better to only provide payments that settle in 2 to 3 business days than to sometimes provide instant payments. People will now be more dissatisfied with the slower payments than they would be if they didn't seduce them with better experience they only sometimes get. Right, you know what I've got? This is the old banker mentality now. You could get fucked, mate. You think the next generation don't want faster payments than what you've got. You need to just die now. Just die now, mate. The world clearly ain't working for you anymore, bro. So just go away. Just go away. People will be more satisfied. Yeah, because cars only still do 30 miles an hour, don't they? Your weapon. You make a faster car and it makes everyone else make faster cars. You make a comfier car, it makes everyone else make comfier cars. Talking out their ass. Right. To some extent, you have to do everything to do anything. But CBDCs can have a role to play. It just still leaves, still leaves getting to and from the end user and interoperability across jurisdictions and different fiats. Thank you. Good read, David. Good fucking read, mate. CBDCs can make domestic settlement. Right, so they really didn't cover much. He tweeted it. XRP Darren Paul was excited. Interesting. Let's go and see this tweet. People have been tweeting about it, obviously. I mean, it was on the 19th, 4 or 5 days old. My thoughts are that when Sopendu Mohanta said that CBDCs needed a link between them in the form of a blockchain, I got quite excited. He said they were working on a DLT from the private sector using the Byzantine agreement. I got even more excited. I was excited. That as well. Looking forward to David's response. David's response is, I don't think there's going to be a one world fiat anytime soon. So even with stable coins, there will be a lot of them. To make liquidity between CBDCs, other stable coins and new tokenized asset classes, securities and DeFi, there's room for a natural jurisdictionless asset. Very, very interesting. At the end of the day, people need to get it in the red how much how much value is actually going to be created in gaming worlds. I know we keep bringing it up, and I'm not going to stop bringing it up until people start realising. I'm going live this weekend at some point on No Man's Sky. Now, this is a game that just produces solar system after solar system in a galaxy. It's absolutely massive, and I want people to imagine, while I'm gonna play it, and hopefully people can get the vision and imagine what it's going to be like when you can just start hiring people on your own, and you start selling your own items that you've made for real world value, not just in-game value. It's going to be absolutely incredible how much value is created through gaming channels by 2030. Don't be surprised if by 2030 the gaming industry, online gaming industry, is almost as valuable as the remittance industry. I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. Do not be surprised, because it's going to start blowing up. And on that note, I need to get ready to start going down to Birmingham. Not Birmingham, Milton Keynes. Got to view a unit with John from Wireless Racer. Unit where we'll hopefully set the VR track up. So there'll be a track. You play the headset and you can control the robots and the cars online. We'll be setting some games up and all that. Go and find Wireless Racer on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Get liking the pages, follow airdrop information and that, and stay tuned for more. I hope you had a good week. Enjoy your last day in work. And have a good weekend. Wishing health and happiness to you and yours. Take it easy. Invest in yourself. Turn revenues, turn hobbies into revenue. You know the dance. Invest in internet of value. Live long. Hodl a lot so you're ready to let it go. We love crypto. We love XRP. We love David Schwartz. And we love you. And on that note, peace. See you on the next one.